Tovie Express here. Welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look into a 2019 movie titled The Perfect Date. Look out for spoilers and take care. This is Brooks Haddigan. He's aspiring to get into Yale. He says he wants to change the world.
Like my heroes before me. Jobs, Jordan, Musk, game changers.
This is Murph, Brooks's only friend and coworker at a sub shop they both work at. Brooks reads his Yale application letter to his school counselor to get some feedback on how it sounds, to make sure he isn't screwing up his chances. She tells him that he has got the grades to get into Yale, but Yale being an Ivy League, they want more than good grades. She tells him that his essay sounds too boxy, and like he just put the words in there because he knows that's what's supposed to be in an essay. He's advised to find some interests and to rework his essay. This is Brooks's dad, Charlie. He went to UConn and would also like Brooks to go there as well, because it isn't as expensive as Yale, and is still a good school even though it isn't an Ivy. This is Reese, your typical rich, no brain cells, F-boy who only cares about girls. His cousin has a dance tonight, but she has no date, so his uncle and aunt asked Reese to accompany their daughter. But he doesn't want to because Madison, his girlfriend, is going to be home alone as her parents are out of town for the weekend and he'd rather be with her. Brooks spots this as an opportunity to make cash and he offers to take his cousin. But first, he has to borrow Brooks his car if she's taking his cousin to a dance.
That's all I needed to run the background check.
No, I know. I actually know that you ran a background check. I found out when I ran one on you.
This is Jerry Lieberman, the dad, and Lillian Lieberman, the mom.
Good evening. I'm...
Reese's bitch. Celia, relax.
This is Celia Lieberman, everybody. The cousin who doesn't have a date. She has a very strong personality at first glance. Celia tricks Brooks to take her to a cafe shop, instead of going to her school's dance. Brooks convinces her to actually go to the dance instead.
Person thing now?
You think people actually go to a dance to dance? No, they come here to take photos for their Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's why people have babies now, too.
Brooks and Celia dance, and he realizes just how bad of a dancer she is, but he oddly enough digs it. Brooks's eye is caught by another student taking selfies, while he's dancing with Celia. He accidentally steps on her foot because he was starting at that girl so hard. This is Shelby. She came over to make sure if Celia's foot was alright. Shelby invites them to an after party of the school's dance, but since he stubbed her toes, they can't go to her after party.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, well,
On their way back home to Celia's house, Celia jokes around about how he's taking such good care of her, and is actually a good fake or pretend boyfriend in her eyes. She says that it could be a serious money-making business idea, and he takes it too seriously. The next day he tells Murph about the idea, and is very convenient because he can program. Seems to me that Murph has a crush on this customer, who orders the same exact thing, at the same exact time every single day. Brooks gets his first date request, and it's to be an art geek at an art show. He gets all dressed up and acts the part once he's at the art show. Then, gets another date request to a couple's tennis match with total strangers, but he looks like he's having the time of his life, so that's good. He gets another date request, with Marjorie, who's looking for Brooks's help with practice dating and is running her pickup lines and social anxiety with him first, before she asks out her crush.
is that so hard to believe?
Yes, it is. That's why you're hearing disbelief in my...
Turns out that Celia Lieberman has a crush on someone, Franklin, and he's going to be at a party that Shelby is hosting, which is perfect for both of them, because Celia will get more time with Franklin, while Brooks gets some time with Shelby.
Obviously. Brooks is from Darien. Oh my god, I love it there. It's just so beautiful.
Shelby's dad seems to be the freaky type, because he's talking to a bunch of premature adults at a party, while he's probably twice their age. Brooks asks Celia where she'll be attending college and she says the University of Michigan, and Brooks is surprised, because Ivy League is somewhat the birthright of rich teens. He's not wrong though, remember the 2019 college admission scandal? While he talked to Shelby, and Shelby said how refreshing it is for a boyfriend not to be so jealous, and actually trust her girlfriend. Celia and Brooks sit together on the couch having ice cream, when Celia tells Brooks that Franklin and him are going on a date soon. She was actually the one who asked Franklin out, and they start talking about how they're going to end their fake relationship and that it needs to be believable. Celia tells Brooks that she can help him get into Yale, because her dad knows the president of Yale, because they've been playing poker since she was a baby and her dad kept losing to him, in hopes of her hopefully attending Yale one day. Melt, which is what Murph calls him, since he doesn't even know his name, returns to the shop and again orders the same thing again, only this time Murph prepared it beforehand. Brooks notices how his friend is blushing. Brooks received a date request, and it's from a rich teenage girl, who's looking for a douche to pretend to be her boyfriend, so that when she introduces her real boyfriend to her parents, they'd be more accepting. Not gonna lie, that's real smart.
Dean's ready for you now.
After the meeting, Celia overhears the dean talking about honeybees and becomes suspicious. She asks Brooks why exactly they were talking about honeybees because bees aren't really relevant when coming to school.
To push people away. Because I'm too scared to show people who I really am.
Celia finally meets Murph and they hang out at a pizza place. Brooks asks if tuna melt ever came back, and Murph suggests that he probably got scared off because he prepared his sandwich before he even got there. They tell Celia who tuna melt is. Celia go on a date together, but Franklin is nervous because he can't tell if it's a real date or not. He then tells Celia about a National Geography film he saw about how dung beetles know a dung beetle is the one when their movements match, and he says that he's been watching Celia and Brooks, and they move similarly. But Celia tells him that, well, they're not shit beetles, so no thank you. The very next day, Celia and Brooks are on a phone call together, and they're busy discussing their epic breakup, and even practicing it. Their epic breakup finally launches at a party. It starts off being terrible acting, but then Brooks pushes it too far, and starts pointing out why Celia is the way she is, and he repeats what she said to him in the car, about how she pushes people away for her own good, and it breaks her.
It's just an act.
Brooks, please don't do this.
I defend.
The next day, Brooks is excited, and tells Murph that he kissed Shelby, only Murph is there. Turns out he switched shifts with another coworker, and he didn't say why or even tell Brooks. Celia is still ignoring Brooks, and acting like he never existed. Brooks is Shelby's date to their prom. Before they went to prom, they first went to a restaurant, and Brooks learns that Shelby is one of those girls who know exactly what they want, and honestly can't seem to relate to her. They have an incredibly awkward date. Brooks and Shelby finally get to the prom, and Brooks runs into Marjorie, the practice date girl, and she thanks Brooks for helping her, and that without him, she couldn't have been able to ask out Larry. Shelby asks what she's talking about, and finds out he's a liar. Shelby ditches Brooks, and he goes running back to Celia. Turns out Brooks accepted UConn's offer, and decided not to go to Yale, because he didn't want to pretend to be someone he's not, which is absolutely great, because he would have been taking someone who actually deserved to be their spot. He gets a date request, which he declines several times, and it was just Celia. They go to their sub shop, where everything is all decorated and nice. Murph decorated the whole place, thanks to Celia's ideas. Murph is also going to UConn. Celia and Brooks kiss, officially announcing their relationship. Oh, and Murph still doesn't know Tuna Melt's name, even though he literally confessed his feelings. Ah, teenagers.